Welcome to Scrub In, a podcast powered by Bay Health. I'm your host, Sarah Beebe.
And I'm your co-host, Tyler Cody.
Step into the studio with us as we scrub in and dive deep into asking, what is your why? A conversation committed to inspiring purpose in each other.
Here we offer personal and practical lessons directly from our community members that unite, grow, and empower us all. Welcome back to Scrub In. Hello, Sarah.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good.
Good. Today we have Dr. Trina Turner joining us today.
Yeah.
All right, and we always like to start our episodes off with a quote. So today I will begin with a quote from an unknown author. When faced with adversity, remember the power of choice. Choose hope, choose strength, and let your decisions shape a brighter tomorrow.
I love that.
I love that.
I feel like this month's theme is hope.
Yes, it is.
We also have an interview with Kathy Konevsky from the Food Bank of Delaware, and her quote was also about hope, and a lot of her story was too.
Hope was her favorite word as well.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm excited to hear your story. So, Trina, tell us about yourself.
Oh, okay. So I'm Trina Turner. I have been a nurse for 30 years. I'm currently a lung and colorectal screening nurse navigator at Bay Health. I do certified tobacco treatment specialist through the Delaware Quit Line. I'm also a state navigator, and I've been with Bay Health almost 12 years.
Wow. Now, what does it mean to be a state navigator?
So what I do is, besides the screening and prevention we do through the Cancer Institute for lung and colorectal, I also go out and I do community outreach and education for the state of Delaware.
Okay.
So if they have any events that they need someone to talk about lung screening, colorectal screening, tobacco cessation, they'll call me. And there's like about maybe 10 of us throughout the state of Delaware.
Wow.
And it's a dual role at Bay Health. So I'm a Bay Health navigator, but I'm also a state of Delaware navigator too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of fell into that role. So
That's wonderful. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. And you have your doctorate?
I do. I got done October 2023 of last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
long
awesome.
road.
Yes,
but I'm
it
happy
is.
to be done now.
And so you have your Doctor of Nursing practice,
Yes.
your DNP.
With
Awesome.
with an educational leadership focused.
Okay. All right. So what did you do your project on?
So I did it on the 5 A's of evidence-based tobacco cessation.
Okay.
So I noticed that in our Cancer Institute, we were assessing for tobacco, history, but we were not using an evidence-based practice protocol.
Okay.
So I incorporated the 5 A's, ask, advise, assist, those 5, and with the radiation oncology doctors. And we were able to increase our enrollment to the Delaware Quit Line by about maybe 30%.
Wow. That's
in an
awesome.
8-week
That's a
period.
huge metric.
Yeah,
Wow.
in an 8-week period, it was a lot. So it just shows us that it's definitely something that we need to continue doing. And
Yes.
they really liked it so much that I may end up incorporating it inside of medical oncology too.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't think that people realize just how much DMP quality improvement and evidence-based research, just how much it does for the community, for the hospital, for whatever organization that hires DNPs. And so, you have a skill set that is just so special and so vital to the cost of things, to the improvement of things. So that's wonderful. That's
I'm
awesome.
excited. I'm excited about where this degree is going to take me.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely.
So Tyler, you're the only nurse at this table that does not have your doctorate.
I am the only one.
So you
that
might
means
need
I
to start working.
Yep,
Yeah.
I need to get the wheels turning.
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. Come on. We need more.
Yep, the
Yes,
light bulbs
yes,
are going
we do.
off.
Yes,
Awesome.
absolutely. Just gonna put that plug in
Yes.
there.
Absolutely.
Noted.
Absolutely.
I gave you one season before I gave you a hard time about it. Now
know.
we're gonna push a little bit.
It's time. It's time.
And when I see you in the hospital, I'm definitely going to be pushing you now.
You
Yeah.
go right ahead.
Okay.
I'll need that motivation from you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I got
Yep.
you. I got you.
We can help you. We can help you along the way.
Absolutely.
I've got all the resources.
Absolutely.
Yes,
All the
yes.
resources.
So Trina, tell us about yourself. Tell us what made you want to become a nurse and what makes you wake up in the morning and do what you do.
Okay. So I wanted to become a nurse because my mom was a nurse. I grew up watching her take care of people. She was a nurse for 45 years.
Wow.
She was an LPN. She never decided to go back to become an RN because she just felt like at that point that was operating as an LPN was what she wanted to do. She wanted more hands-on. She loved taking care of people. I started to look at the field of nursing when I was 16 because I became a candy striper at the hospital.
Oh,
and
yep.
I would go in and take care of the patients and, change their bedding. I would give them fresh water. I would sit and talk with the patients. I got a chance to see my mom and her friends in their element. And I saw how they took care of people, and that made me want to become a nurse, definitely. Just watching them and the changes and the hope that they were giving patients. I would see how, patients were in pain and they were struggling to get out of bed, or they just didn't want to be, bothered for that day. And a nurse would come in and talk to them and reach out to them and do little things for them. And you could see how that would make such an impression with the patient.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what, that's what I want to do. I want to help someone. I want to make an impression for someone. So that's what made me decide to be a nurse.
Wow.
At 17, I had got a full scholarship to Widener University.
Yep.
But unfortunately, not unfortunately, but I became a single mom at 17, right before graduation from high school.
Wow.
So I had to give up my scholarship to go to school, and I was really devastated. I expected to be able to go to school, get my bachelor's degree, get my master's degree, and continue on, but, life had a different thing, a different thing that they wanted me to do. So I had my son, and then by the age of 24, I had 3 kids. And at that point, I said, okay, I'm not going to be able to go back. I'm just going to end up having to do what I need to do to take care of my children. And my mother would always tell me, where you start is not where you're going to finish. She said, we have a village of people that are going to help you do what you need to do, and you're going to keep going. You're not going to stop. So I enrolled in LPN school and took care of my babies, and I took public assistance, and I did everything I needed to do, and I became an LPN. Well, first I became a CNA, and then I became an LPN. And throughout the whole time of going to school with my kids, right along next to them, like at dinner table, they were going to school doing homework, and I was going to school doing homework, because it was important to me that my children saw that even if I was struggling, even if there was something that was going on in my life that was hard, I wasn't going to give up.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that they understood resiliency, and to make sure that they keep going and keep hope, that just where you are now is not where you're going to end up being.
Absolutely.
So I took it the long way. I went to school with my kids. I took care of my kids. I got my LPN, then I got my associates, and then my bachelor's, and then my master's, and then finally I got my doctorate last year. So it was half of my nursing career was in school. But when I decided to go to school, and I told my mom I was going to be a nurse, she didn't want me to. She was like, I want you to go into computers. Nursing is hard. And she said, but if you're going to do it, I want you to go all the way. So when I just, every time things get hard, every time things would struggle in my life, I would just keep hearing her voice and, her telling me, don't give up, keep going.
Yeah.
She did not get a chance. She did not live to see me become an RN. She died maybe about 6 months before I finished my program.
I wondered about that. I was curious how far she got to see you on this path.
Yeah, she passed away 6 months before I got done my program, and it was difficult. It was hard. I wanted to give up, and I have to say, that last 6 months of my program, I don't know how I made it through.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I was just going to ask that.
Yeah, she was a single mom. It was just me and her. So it was hard. It was very hard. And I always say that her and God carried me, because I don't remember cracking a book in the last year, in the last 6 months, but I graduated with honors. So,
Wow.
And so here I am now, 30 years later, finally, with my degree, and my kids see that, they're so proud of me, and they're like, my mom, she has her doctorate, she did it, she never gave up, even if I had to work 2-3 jobs to take care of them, I did what I had to do.
Yep.
So it's all about not giving up and keeping hope. Definitely.
You've truly lived your life to that example.
I have tried my best.
And you've set a great example for your kids.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I've tried my best. I wanted my kids to see that, no matter wherever you start, you're not going to finish there. You have to keep going and not give up. So it was very important that I showed that to my children.
Yeah, I agree. I did homework alongside my kids for my doctorate as well, and I don't leave my kids necessarily in the dark about everything that's going on, within reason, of course.
Within reason.
But I think it's important for them to see that we all have really hard days, and that we get up in the morning and we keep going, or that when it seems like that homework is just the last thing you want to do,
Absolutely.
sometimes you gotta, put your big kid pants on and keep going, and so the things that they find really hard right now, knowing that they can get through it, and they see that through us as
Yes, they
parents,
do.
so that's just a great story.
They would see me up at like 1 a.m. My oldest son, he would come downstairs and he's like, "Mom, you're still working?" I'm like, "Yep, I'm almost done." But, it was coming home, taking care of your children, cooking dinner, making sure they had what they need. And then, once they're settled, then you start, doing what you need to do. But I think that they understand work ethic, and they understand that the importance of pouring into yourself and bettering yourself. My son is back in school now, so I'm excited, because at first he was like, "I don't know what I want to do yet, I'm not sure," but he's back in school, and my daughter and my oldest son are doing well. So I'm just blessed that they saw example in me, and they wanted to keep going, and try to
Well,
build
and
a
you
good
did
life.
the same thing from your mom. You were given an example.
Oh, yes. My mom was amazing. I mean, it was just me and her. She was a single parent, and she raised me, and she gave me everything that I needed. And, she worked 2 jobs, and she struggled, and I saw her struggle, and that's what made me want to be better. That's what made me want her to be proud of me, and to know that, everything you did was not in vain. I see what you did. I see how you poured into me, and my village took care of me when I was going through everything. So it was important that I made her proud,
Yes,
and I
that's
made my
wonderful.
kids proud.
Yeah.
So
That really resonates with me too,
Does
because it speaks to how I developed my why, because my mom set such an example as a home care nurse.
awesome.
And she'd come home and she'd be charting for hours, and she went back to school when I was in high school and got her NP over the age of 50. Like
There you go.
she is willing to overcome whatever she has to grow. And that just really resonated with
I
me.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
We do it for mama.
Yes,
do
we
it for
do. We
mama.
do it for mama.
I,
Yes,
I
absolutely.
agree. My mom went back to school. She changed careers completely in her late 50s, early 60s, and went back and got a master's degree in her 60s. And we graduated from undergrad and graduate school the same year. So,
gosh,
we
that's
did
awesome.
a
I love
joint
that.
graduation party, and it's just, to watch your mom do that. I want to do that for my kids. I want to show them, I mean, it'd be really great if things were just easier the second time around, and that it would be easier for them. But at the same time, I want them to see their mom work hard. And because I respected my mom so much, and just, I did it for mom as well.
Yeah, that seems to be the theme, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. If only this episode was in May for
In
Mother's
Mother's
Day.
Day,
Right? Well, it is February, and we are talking about heart health for women
We
in
are.
February.
Yes.
In fact, today is February 2nd when we're recording this, and it's Go Red for Women. So
Yes.
you are wearing your red
I'm wearing my
shirt.
red
Proudly
shirt.
representing.
I was
yes.
in my red before I changed into my
She was. It looked wonderful.
my
Oh,
scrub
okay.
in
Yes.
uniform. But that's one thing that we support in the month of February is women's heart health, and
Absolutely.
and as women we take on a lot, and
A lot of stress.
of stress, and so that's why we raise awareness for taking care of yourself.
Absolutely.
So on that note, what do you do to take care of yourself when you are not being a nurse and a busy mom?
Well, I do a lot in the community. I'm involved with a lot of different civic organizations.
Okay.
A couple of sororities. But on my downtime, I exercise. I try to make sure, exercise is important for me. I'm getting older now, so I want to try to make sure I keep my health together. I love traveling. I love reading. I love playing with my brand new granddaughter. She's 7 months old. And yeah, Asia, and she's amazing. So I get to spend a lot of time with her, and it's just so nice to see my daughter operating as a mom now. And she
Yeah.
always says that, you're my best example. So I'm like, oh, it's so sweet. But it's like 3 generations.
I was going to
And-
say yes.
yeah.
3 generations of examples.
And a lot of community work. I do a lot of volunteering. I just kind of feel like I want to give back to the community that took care of me.
Yeah.
So it's important for me to be able to volunteer at different organizations. I give up some of my Saturdays and Sundays to help out with different things that are going on in the organizations that I'm in, and I love it. Some people, they're like, oh, you're running constantly, and I do. I'm on the go a lot, but I kind of feel like I didn't do a lot when I was younger because I was raising my babies, you know. So now that I'm 53 now and my kids are grown, now I have the time to pour into the community and to pour into other people. I teach at DSU. I'm an adjunct professor there, so I love touching the future of nurses. That was one thing I wanted to do, definitely. I kept saying, when I get done and get my degree, I'm going to go back and, you know, give back and reach back and help people. So I do that too, and I don't really have any free time, everyone tells me, but I feel like everything that I do, I enjoy. It's never anything where I feel like it's overwhelming or I'm stressed out. Because I love what I do. So as long as you love what you do, you're never going to work a day in your life. So
That's right.
What you do fills your cup.
It fills my cup,
Yeah.
definitely. And I try to fill the cup of other people because I struggle. It's hard, you know, especially during COVID and everything that's happened after the pandemic. I see nurses that are not happy, that are, you know, rethinking their idea of why they wanted to be a nurse. And I try to tell, especially the younger ones that are coming in, I try to tell them, you know, hey, hold on to your why. Why did you want to become a nurse from the very beginning? Do you care about people? You know, you got to care about people in order to be a nurse.
Yes.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
It's the essence.
Yeah, it's the essence of nursing, caring and providing for others.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what I do. I just go out in the community and do different things and hang out with my friends and my family.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, and the purpose of this podcast was to inspire other nurses and then other healthcare workers with hearing other people's whys, because sometimes it helps to connect you back to your own. And you know, we all have been hit hard over the past few years, and so being reminded of why you went into this in the first place, you know.
Exactly.
So,
especially during the pandemic, you really had to hold on to your why during that time because it was scary. We didn't know a lot in the beginning, so a lot of people left the profession because it was not something that they could deal with. It wasn't something that they could face. And I just want to just make sure I can tell anyone, just hold on to your why on the bad days. Those are the days, that was what got me through some of the hardest times of my life, just remembering why I wanted to be a nurse and why I wanted to get back.
Well, and you also are constantly working with patients who are in uncertainty. So not just nurses, but working with patients who might have to reconnect with their why. And so what made you go into nurse navigation? That's such a calling.
It is. And actually, I kind of fell into it, I think. I was working in diagnostic imaging. I was a nursing supervisor in diagnostic imaging for about 6 years. And I looked at the nursing navigation role in oncology the year before I took the job. I was going to interview, and then we had some layoffs or some people that quit in our department, so I decided to stay. I was like, I really can't leave them short. I don't want to do that to them. So if this is for me, it'll come back around. Well, 365 days exactly, another position came up. So I said, well, you know what, let me go. I'm interested in oncology. I have an uncle who has prostate cancer, and I also had an aunt who had breast cancer.
Okay.
So that kind of, dealing with them and their health challenges made me want to find out more about oncology, whether or not this would be something that I wanted to do, because I had done so many different things in my nursing career. So I interviewed for the job, and I found out that it was actually not a navigation role where I would be seeing patients in the hospital, but it was a new role that the Cancer Institute was developing for the community outreach, lung screening, and colorectal screening. So it would be a position that I would build. Help them build.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So I fell into it that way. I just kind of was like, okay, well, what are we going to do? And it was basically nothing was there, and it was like, okay, this is what you need to do. Let's put it together. How are we going to build this program? So I reached out with the state and different organizations, the different hospitals in the health system, and just kind of found out how their lung screening navigation program and their colorectal screening navigation program was put together. Okay. And just tried to model it. And so that's how I ended up in oncology, and I ended up doing a lot of prevention, a lot of community outreach, education. So I'm on the beginning of the cancer spectrum, where we're doing early detection and prevention. Yes. But I still do see patients in the hospital at times, and I also do tobacco cessation. So I'm helping our patients who are trying to quit, especially before cancer treatment. I help them with tobacco cessation. Wonderful. And make sure that they're able to, have the most optimal cancer treatment, outcomes.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah, that's kind of how I fell into it. I didn't realize that I was going to be helping to build a program, but once I got into it, I was like, this is my niche. I love it. I
What a
love
great
working with.
professional
I
experience that is.
love working with the cancer patients. They are amazing. They're some of the most resilient, strong people you will ever meet. You know.
I agree.
And even when they're having a bad day, they can come in and you can see them, and they will make your day better because they're here and they haven't given up and they keep going.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great place to end our conversation. This was so much fun talking to you, and it was so
Thank
wonderful
you.
talking with you. Is there anything else you want to share?
just don't give up. You
Yeah.
know? Keep hope. Don't give up. Be resilient. And just put one foot in the other and just keep going.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it.
Yep. Oh, well, thank you so much. This is great. I'm excited to have
thank
met
you.
you
Yes.
and talk to
Yeah.
you and hear your story. So thank you so
much.
much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Please make sure to like and subscribe by hitting the plus or follow button. You can follow us wherever you get your podcasts.
And remember to stay committed to the why.